Hey guys, how you doing? jpsarrireviews here, and welcome again to another reaction video. And in today's video, I want to react to one of the coolest releases of 2025. And not only the top 2025, one of the throwbacks that really puts me back in the day as a child of the 80s, as a kid in the 80s. And now M.A.S.K is being brought back by the loyal subjects, and in this video, I want to look at the new pre-order that just went live, that is available here in the United States through Big Bad Toy Store. Now, I've got to be honest with you, from the get-go, I did pre-order this special bundle. There is, of course, you can pre-order each individual vehicle. There's an exclusive bundle that has everything together. The BBTS exclusive has different add-ons to the packages. This is also known as the San Diego Comic-Con 2025 version for the Rhino, which is the big truck. And at that, I think they're gonna have some available at San Diego Comic-Con. One thing you're going to notice is that some of the names of the vehicles are not the same as in the original toy line. For example, here you can see the Rhino is not called that. It's called the Mobile Defense Unit Vehicle. And I know a lot of people that are upset about this because they would like to have the Rhino on the box, but it has to do with they were unable, in this case loyal subjects, even though they were able to secure, of course they're doing this in some way in partnership with Hasbro, which is the owner of this license, of course, when they bought Kenner. However, the names, they have different licensors, so they aren't able to grab those, or unable to, you know, to be able to bring him to it, which is a mess. I know a lot of people are definitely upset about it. Maybe there's gonna be some ways that some people are already thinking how they're going to mask. You can say that, mask the name, maybe some stickers on the box. We'll look into the box and the packaging in just a moment, but that is the reason why it's not called that. But again, this is the Rhino through and through. That's how we know it. The same applies to the Switchblade, which is this jet helicopter. It is just the high-tech helicopter. That's what they call it, which is a boring name for sure. But here you can see also it's available there. You have the Thunderhawk. Thankfully, they were able to able to grab this or be able to use the name, which is a classic vehicle. I owned that vehicle as a child. It's based on a Camaro. And the classic Condor. Condor is my first M.A.S.K vehicle. I remember receiving this for Christmas when it came out that year when it was out. I think it was what, 1985 or so, 1996. I have so many great memories about this vehicle, and of course, you know, now you have the Mobile Defense Unit, the Rhino, which I never had. I always wanted to have as a child, and now as an adult, of course, now that I'm able to afford it, I'm gonna get this. Now let's start here looking at the prices. This is the special edition, or the version of the Rhino, which is the San Diego Comic-Con special, also the BBTS special exclusive set. This comes with all the different accessories, different figures. Now it says right here that the listed price includes the tariff surcharge, so you have to change based on final tariff rates. That's something that unfortunately we have to deal nowadays, but for the time being, you get the package here. There's a standard, there's a collector version. Of course, it's up to you how you want to do it, but the price is $174.99. Some people were not happy about that. Initially, this was announced to be $100, 99 something. Of course, that was back in Toy Fair, back last year, that we're talking about. Of course, things have changed very drastically, very fast. There are a couple of things that they have done to tweak the vehicles, but the vehicles for the most part are the same as they were before. The figures are the same scale, but they have been remolded, redone, so they look better than the originals did. They made out of plastic, based on the classic M.A.S.K franchise, features a metallic magenta paint finish with vacuum metal chrome, which is an extra for this exclusive version. Converts from semi-truck to mobile HQ. A spring-activated launch seat designed to expel infiltrators from the vehicle. Includes the exclusive T-Bob and Scott Tracker figures that are only available in this set. This special edition is available exclusively at Big Bad Toy Store. Now, looking at the pictures of this San Diego Comic-Con, this BBTS exclusive, here you can see the vehicle is nice. Again, they haven't really changed much on the vehicle. It's pretty much the same. Some changes here and there. The figures look great in my opinion. They look a lot better than the originals, so that is great, and it's very cool. Of course, again, price can be subject to change because of the tariffs, but I know that also it's subjective for a lot of people. Some people think this is overpriced. I personally think it's a good price for what you get in here with all the contents. When you compare it to a lot of the things nowadays, It's still the Rhino. The original Rhino was pretty large, so this is going to maintain at the large dimensions. You can definitely go for the cheaper version, but yeah, I think it's a great bundle. Even at $175, I think it's still a fair price. Now let's say that you only care about the Rhino without the extra figures, the extra stuffs, and you go for the regular price. Is $124.99. There's a standard version. There's no exclusive collector edition on this. Again, this is what I was saying. Some people are saying that they are thinking about using some type of sticker. Probably somebody's gonna come up with some idea, sell it probably on eBay, where they can just simply say Rhino there, change that, the lettering there. Possible. You know, kind of cool idea, not necessarily, unless in my opinion it would be great in some way, but I'm not really feeling bad about it, honestly. In my head I already know this is the Rhino, so there's no buts about it. All right, now we're looking at this Switchblade, and this one does have a collector's, as you can see, edition, $7 more. But this one, just looking at it, it's pretty cool. I like it. There are a couple of changes that has been done, but for the most part is the same vehicle as I remember. I never had it. I had a friend of mine growing up that he had all the, I don't know if he had it the whole collection, but he had a lot of M.A.S.K vehicles. And the packages again are amazing. Yeah, it's a boring title, high-tech helicopter instead of Switchblade. They couldn't just create something different, maybe say Switch and then space in between and say Blade or something. That would have sufficed for me. Still, the packaging is great. I read that there's gonna have like a window parts, the packaging, you're gonna be able to open it up. I think the originals did that. I'm not so sure about it, but even just the box is great. And I've been kind of torn about if I get 2 sets, honestly. I already secured 1 set. I'm not sure if I want to get a second set, maybe to keep 1 in the box and 1 just for display, you know, to open it and play with it. I haven't decided that. That of course add up more to the price in the end. But that is another optional, an alternative that I think is still viable if you like. I know some people would do it, but I like that they definitely go with the old style everything. Some changes here and there, modernize the box. For the most part, it looks the same. And of course, it says Scanner at the bottom, which is a nice touch. Now we're looking at the Thunderhawk. As you can see, it's $59.99, $60. Again, price have changed from what was anticipated or was expected at first. There's no collector edition here, only the standard. But look at how this figure looks. I think it looks really neat. Very nice. And I like the figure. The portraits are very nice. And when you look at it, it's just great. And again, this is a classic vehicle. You know, I remember back in the day about these vehicles as M.A.S.K. And I honestly don't remember much about the cartoon. That's one of those cartoons that you watch. You love the toys and you watch a cartoon. But at the same time, the plot was very forgettable. Many times I always thought of M.A.S.K more like a rip-off of G.I. Joe in some way, but in some, there's a little bit of connection that was done in the comics later in the years. Later years they were talking about that there was a connection between Venom and Cobra and all that kind of stuff, but honestly I never really saw it that way. But one great thing about M.A.S.K that surpassed any other toy line, it was the fact that the vehicles were fantastic, and they were phenomenal toy lines in the 80s. There's so many to remember. It's amazing to think that that was probably the best era for toys. That was the golden age of toys, and in some way we were seeing a resurgence of that golden era. But now for the older crowd, the people who grew up with that era, now they seen this reimagining of the toys. Unfortunately, toys are no longer for kids. Kids are not getting into this anymore. They want the new thing. They want the Switch 2. They want all that stuff. They don't care about this stuff. But it's amazing going back in time to remember how it was back in the day, how excited it was on a Christmas morning, be able to open a package with a new vehicle, a new toy, and M.A.S.K was one of them. And here we have the Condor, which in my opinion, it's perhaps one of my favorite toys of all time. Even though it was so small, I remember that year when my parents, and I think I gotta be honest, probably that was the year when I stopped thinking about Santa Claus. It was the year where I felt like I would start to change. My life was like I was thinking getting a little older, and I think I don't believe in Santa Claus. But then all of a sudden, this shows up. I don't know how my father sneaked in, but he was able to put different toys, and I saw the Condor, and I was a believer again for that year. But I remember that toy. And of course, that year wasn't like the greatest for a lot of toys in the house. Of course, you know, sometimes things were easier for, you know, sometimes my dad was making more money. Sometimes some years not as much. Things were a little more of a struggle, but they still tried to give us toys and, you know, be there. And I don't remember many things that gave us that year, but I do remember the Condor beaded gift that really I was super excited about. And it was so cool. I remember taking it to school. You know, everybody shared their toys, what they have for Christmas, and everybody thought it was a cool toy, and it was, and I still remember. And you know, and it was not the most expensive one or the biggest one, but it was just so cool to have a motorcycle like that. It still, up to this day, looking at that motorcycle, still looks amazing. Looks like a really nice motorcycle, and I'm so glad that they're respecting pretty much the vehicle. It looks just as it was. The only thing, of course, that they have maybe changes here and there, but for the most part, as I remember, that's how it looks. And I'm so glad that they're doing that. And, you know, as much as I love classified series that they do reimaginings and reinventions of things, I love when toys, they do the retro thing, when they stay true to that retro vibe, but also they change a little bit just to improve some of the things that could have been improved or you thought they could have been better back in the day. And I think the figures, for the most part, reimagine those figures as they have done it here. Like you can see that, in my opinion, that's the way to go. But everything else looks just like I remember, and I'm super excited. I'm more inclined to get 2 of these because yeah, it looks very, very cool. I love the packaging. Amazing. This is a really nice packaging. All right, but let's say that you want to have it all, as you know, in this case I do. And to be honest, I don't know if it's gonna be a wave 2, wave 3. Of course I think it's going to be, because there's a lot of people excited for this, and so far nothing has run out. Everything's still the same, which in my opinion is great. But when you're looking at all these vehicles right here, look at this, everything in one single package. And I didn't realize that I perhaps just ordered the standard and I didn't do the collector. So I am about to maybe I have to change my order. I don't know. Maybe I need to change it. I'll see. But I gotta be honest here. The whole thing together, all these toys with everything here, I'm super excited. Honestly, I'm just blown up in my head. You know, like I cannot believe that it's been 40 years since this was introduced. 40 years growing up. I still remember having so much fun. I love the packaging, by the way. It's just great. Just thinking about all that time that has passed, and here you can see Mayhem, you know, the leader of Venom. Like, it looks great. He looks great too. They did a fantastic job with his persona. The packaging looks amazing. Coming to the end of the video, I'm excited for this line. I really am. You know, I'm excited for classified series, what they're doing. The Snow Cat, I talked about it yesterday. I like it, but I'm more, you know, not as inclined or as excited to go for it. I may change my mind. You never know at the end, before the last day or two of the crowdfunding. But other than that, it was day one for me. This was day one for me since I saw it the first time. I say I'm gonna get it. The price, of course, there's something that we can all argue about, but that's something. But I think even at this price point, you get in 4 vehicles, you get a whole wave of nice looking vehicles. The retro vibe is there. There's some changes to it. I think it's perfect. The packaging is perfect. I'm super excited for it. And even though I don't have the space for a lot of things, I definitely need to add this to my collection. I just need it. That's for sure. I need to finally be able to own the Rhino. I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, I would say so. If you grew up, this is definitely for the 80s kid. If this is for the person who grew up in the 80s and loved the cartoon, loved the toys, and definitely has a heart for it. But beyond, you know, besides that, if you didn't grow up with this, if you were not part of this, and definitely this is not going to entice you. But I'm telling you, M.A.S.K was something very special and still is, and I'm so glad. And the best part is they saw one of those cartoons that kind of disappeared. People didn't talk much about it, didn't really discuss it until recently when this was announced. I've seen a lot of people coming from the woodworks, you know, they say, you know, coming from everywhere saying, hey, you know, I grew up with this, and they sharing their stories about what they grew up with the toys. And man, sometimes you can relate to other people. I was like, oh wow, I didn't know. You know, I like, for example, with the Condor, talking about a lot of people really, you know, mentioning that was their only toy, the only M.A.S.K toy, and how much it meant to them. And I say, hey, it meant a lot to me, even though it was not my only, was my first one. I didn't have the whole collection, but Condor was special. So it's great when you share things with other people, and I think this collection has the heart, and definitely, is touching on that passion that we have for all these things that happened in the 80s. So my friends, what do you think about this collection? Are you excited for it? Are you going to pre-order this? Have you already pre-ordered this? Are you gonna get more than one? You're gonna get two? What do you think about this collection of the Loyal Subjects? What do you think about the future of the M.A.S.K line of toys now in the hands of the Loyal Subjects? And even in the future, are we gonna see more toys from somebody else? Do you think that somebody else is also going to hold the license? That is, I'm doubting that, but you never know. Let me know in the comments below. So once again, my friends, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, to comment, and to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification buttons, reminder of the next video. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. The links are in the description. And please consider supporting the channel financially through Patreon. My friends, God bless, take care, and I will talk to you again. Bye-bye.